Let's get some analysis on the situation in Niger. Retired Green Beret Michael Waltz, who also served as senior counterterrorism advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney, joins us here to talk about it. Mike, good evening. Tell me about this. We don't often hear about the efforts of Green Berets who are working with local indigenous forces, as they do, but they're kicking in doors and going after terrorists in this region.
That's right. Well, Brett, I think it's important to point out that as we speak right now, every day, American Green Berets, Special Forces in general, are operating in 70 to 80 countries around the world.
70 to 80.
70 to 80. You know, as we deal with our domestic issues and we sleep safe tonight, they are in half the countries around the world doing America's business. Now, in Niger, specifically, where I had the opportunity to serve in 2014, you know, it's really a hotbed. If you look at it geographically, you've got al-Qaeda in the Maghreb in Mali, next door to the northwest, where actually we have an American aid worker being held hostage right now as we speak as well. We have Boko Haram in Nigeria to the south, and then you have, importantly, you have ISIS to the north in Libya, which just completely fell apart under the Obama administration after the overthrow of Gaddafi. And that's what a lot of the drones and the training has been focused on.
And as this administration essentially drops the hammer on terrorists and ISIS in Iraq and Syria, right, it's kind of like a water balloon. They go someplace else, and West Africa has been that someplace else.
Yeah, as you squeeze in Raqqa and in northern Iraq, you're seeing ISIS flow out to Afghanistan. That's why the president's strategy to stay engaged there is so important. You've seen ISIS just take over a city in southern Philippines, and you're seeing them hot and heavy in western Iraq. And, you know, that's what our Green Berets are so important to do. They uniquely specialize in training local forces for the long term so they can take the fight on their own. We have to have hard power in the short term, but in the long term, we have to undermine the ideology and we have to train our partners to take the fight to the enemy.
Mike, we're getting ready to go to the White House. The president meeting with his military leaders, the defense secretary, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and others in the cabinet room in the White House. Yeah. Stand by if you would. The press allowed in for a short time. The president made some comments on both Iran and bump stocks. We could take that tape as it comes in from the cabinet room. Let's listen. Thank you all very much. Thank you. You'll be hearing about Iran very shortly. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, that wasn't exactly chock full of news, saying you'll hear about Iran very shortly. We'll see if he said anything else before that. He's meeting there. Likely this topic's coming up. If his military leaders are there, yeah. You have just this raid in Niger and obviously a serious situation for special forces on the ground.
That's right, Brett, and this is why it's so important for us to stay engaged, for the American people to understand that we have these operators all over the world. And, you know, if you look at success stories like Colombia against the FARC, like the Philippines and others, it's because we had a very small footprint. By doctrine, you can have 12 of these special operators training thousands of locals. And I think that's the long-term strategy in this long war. And I just ask you and everyone else, Brett, to keep the families in mind tonight. I understand the bodies are coming back to Dover this weekend. And it's things like it's veterans organizations like the Green Beret Foundation and others that are going to support the families who are suffering in this long effort.
That's a great reminder. Thank you very much, Mike.